I mean, this is ridiculous, isn't it? Hello, everybody. My name is Benjamin Bloom. And we're back. If you were here about an hour ago, you would have seen me reacting to Gerhard Struber leaving Barnsley for the New York Red Bulls. We jumped on, we did a stream, and off I went and had my dinner. And then literally half the way through my dinner, Sabri Lamouchi has been fired by Nottingham Forest. So my proclamation, and I've been steadfast in this, that it's international break number 2 that we need to look out for, not number 1. It's been complete nonsense. 2 managers in the space of about 3 hours have lost their jobs in the Championship. And Lamouchi, well, it's not looked good for a fair while, has it? Has been fired. And Nottingham Forest go through yet another manager. We celebrated when he lasted over a year. It was kind of annual, I don't know, about January the 10th or something. Put it in your diary, Forest will fire their manager. But he got through it. And, well, we'll talk about what happened at the end of last season. But let me know if you are here in the comments, and let me know your reaction. Sabri Lamouchi has been fired by Nottingham Forest after 1 season and 4 games in charge. Obviously, this season has gone very, very badly. Let me just check the comments and see if we've got people here. Owen, I saw this coming. Liam says, busy day. You're damn right, mate. Ridley, not surprised by this as a Derby fan. Jack, another bombshell. Well, we kind of saw both of them coming, didn't we? I'm good, Oliver. They should have given it a bit more time, but what Forest do, manager after manager. Well, yes, they do, don't they? And we'll bring up the roll of dishonour, and you can see how many managers Forest have gone through. Matt says, Ben, I've stayed away for so long because of Forest's. Glad he's gone, but gave me some amazing memories last season. El Sandro says it wouldn't be Forest. If it's Forest, it could be literally anyone from Eddie Howe to Thierry Henry or anyone in between. Do I get to talk about Mick McCarthy again? Oh, dear. And Paul Cook. All this because Chris Martin headed in a last-minute equaliser. Look, we'll get onto that. Ticking time bomb, says Matt. Should never have given him a new contract. When did a new contract come in? My God. Yes, my dinner is digesting now. So there we go. Eddie Howe. Look, we're going to get the names, aren't we? Get your names in. Eddie Howe, Mick McCarthy, Chris Hughton, Paul Cook, whoever. Who's the Olympiacos manager? Might as well get Pulis with all those defenders. That's tremendous. Jason saw this coming. Just when Ben thought he could have his food, saw this coming. What are you going to do, hey? What are you going to do? Yeah, we knew it was coming, didn't we? We'll talk a bit more. Deadline day, yeah, well, Jay's totally right. They got through deadline day and the internationals, the international transfers, did a little bit of housekeeping in Forest's case, a lot of how it's been ridiculous, the ins and outs of Forest. We'll talk about all of this. Justin will get to it in the end. Rumours that Chris Hughton has already been appointed. They're going to come, aren't they? There we go. Yes, and Matt is right. I remember I was driving. Where did I drive? I was driving to Liverpool to do a job. And I remember that happening. Martin O'Neill being fired on one part of the motorway and then Sabri Lamouchi being hired about 10 miles up the road. Let's just go over to the Forest website, and we have a very curt, eloquent statement here. Maybe he deserves a bit more respect than this, but they've got to put something out. Nottingham Forest can confirm that the contract of head coach Sabri Lamouchi has been terminated with immediate effect. Well, there you go. Thanks, Sabri, for the memories. Let's just bring up the league table for this season so you can all see how horrible the start has been for Forest. Although we've got to parlay this into, one, that it's Forest and they go through managers like no one's business. 2, we've got to talk about the transfers. And 3, we've got to talk about what happened towards the end of last season. So you can see there, Forest has been an awful start, hasn't it? Played 4, won none, drawn none, lost 4. So 4 defeats into the bargain. Have I still got you on split screen? Yes, I have. Let me just make that a little bit bigger. So where's the first game of the season? It is there. Lost 2 at QPR. Lost 2 at Cardiff at home. That gnarly Huddersfield game, which we'll talk about in just a sec, on TV, losing 1-0 then. And then 2-1 at home to Bristol City brings us to international break, as is correctly pointed out in the chat. Also brought us to transfer window part 1, didn't it? So that is also a factor, and out goes Lamouchi. Let's have a look at how he's tried to shape this Forest squad and how ridiculous it's kind of all changed this season. I'm just going to bring up transfer marked on the other screen so we can see, because the criticism of Forest, amongst many, has been that every time a manager goes in there, there's some players left over from 2 managers ago, there's the last manager's players, and then the new manager will then go ahead and buy a load of players. Is that my making that noise? Anyone hear music? No, I don't think so. I hear music when I think of you. Right. The point I was just about to, no doubt, butcher was, here is what Lamouchi did last season, transfer-wise. Let me just bring that up a bit bigger so you can all see a bit better. This is very much his team. Look at that. Jenkinson, okay, didn't really get ahead of cash, did he? Samba, that was a good signing, wasn't it? Nuno da Costa, 1.8 million. He's just gone out on loan. We'll come to that. Samba Sal, yeah, okay, that was a good signing. Kamer, in and out. Gaetan Bong, Adoma didn't get in the team. Amiobi, to be fair, that's been really good, hasn't it? Muric, no, couldn't get past Samba. Mir, no, couldn't get past Graven. Ribeiro, yeah, that was good. Thiago Silva, yeah, okay, and he's just gone back out, hasn't he? Bostock, Diakabi, loads of players in. Let's give him some credit. Samba, Bryce Samba, Samba Sal, Sammy Amiobi, and Yuri Ribeiro were good signings that performed well last season. The turnover the other way, I mean, what's paying for all of this? Arvin Apia, yeah, remember him. 8 million quid. Ben Osborne, 3.5. Sudani, look, Olympiacos there, 2.7. Came and went. Taxidis, and then a load of free transfers out. So he built his team, and I'll try and I can remember a classic Sabri Lamouchi team. So what we came to expect from Lamouchi at Forest was a sort of 4-1-4-1 or a 4-2-3-1. Very stable, quite defensive, quite pragmatic. You'd have the system whereby so you'd have the keeper, the 2 centre-backs, then the 2 centre midfielders just defending in a 4-2-3, like Watson and Sal. The fullbacks could go ahead, but you still had a very solid sort of screen there. And then you had Lolly down the right, cutting in on his left foot, Amiobi on the other side. Then, I don't know, Thiago Silva, sometimes João Carvalho, and Lewis Graben up top. And for the most part, it worked. It worked really, really well, didn't it? And they would be very, very tight in games. They wouldn't concede many chances. They often outperformed their XG, didn't create many big chances, but Graben and Lolly would still score and Cash would help out as well. But they were up and nicely mobile in the table. Let me bring up a sofa score and we'll have a look at how things actually did progress last season for Lamouchi throughout the season. And they don't have the greatest layout on sofa score for looking back, as I can tell you from the experience of doing this half an hour ago when Gerhard Struber went. Keep your comments coming and I'll have a look in just a second. So let's just wind back the clock. And there is the start of last season. and really, really good actually. If I do that, can you see? Hopefully, you can see me lighting up the fixtures. They lost on the opening day to West Brom, and then bang, look, draw, win. Okay, League Cup, win, draw, win, draw, win. Just not losing at all. Win. Okay, losing the EFL Cup, win, draw, win. And it was only when they went to Wigan, and I remember this game. Let's just bring it up because he changed everything, didn't he? Lamouchi, look on the bench there, Graben on the bench with Adoma, Carvalho, etc. And he was criticised for that team, and they lost. And he sort of said, "Oh well, I'll learn the mistake. I won't do that again." I think I have to go backwards again. Sorry. So that was the first sort of couple of defeats in there, Wigan there and Hull. God, remember when Hull used to beat teams in the Championship? Then a postponement, and look, win, draw, win, defeat, draw, back-to-back defeat. And then we come into sort of Christmas time, 3 wins on the trot there, defeating the League Cup, but then look, draw, win. And I was at this game at Brentford where they won 1-0, and they looked pretty good for a playoff position and maybe an automatic challenge. But right here, 8th of February, and this is probably where it all absolutely dies a death. 8th of February. Remember, 8th of February. That might be an important date. I wonder if I can bring up a historical league table. I don't know whether they'll let me go past that, but certainly the idea then was that Forest historical league tables at that point might well be in the running to, be challenging for the top 2. Like I said, it wasn't the necessarily the most flamboyant or exciting to watch, but he got past January, didn't he? And everything was looking really, really hunky-dory there. This website doesn't appear to want to load, which is most frustrating while we're in the middle of the stream. Let me just bring up some comments while you go. Old Sheriff, thank you so much. Super chat in there, really enjoying this. Forest owner is like the Sheriff of Nottingham. If he was a manager, I would go nowhere near. Indeed, yeah. I'll have one more go at loading that website. I'll come away from there quickly. Hi to Calvin. Forest managers have an attrition rate like frontline officers. Dear. World War One. Terrible team to watch. Bazzy says, first prediction I've got right in years. There you go. Hey, I get everything wrong, so don't worry about that. Forest are a mess because they never seem to let things build. This is the problem Derby had a few seasons ago. There you go. You're busy, Ben, today with the sackings. Yes, it's not me that's doing them, but there we go. Right, look, I can't get the historical league table up, so I'm going to go back into SofaScore. I think you understand the point that I was trying to bring home without the aid of technology or internet, as everybody Googles 8th of February league table last season. But let me just go back to the split screen, and then you will see the utter disaster that was the end of season for Forest. So let's bring up the next screen. Hopefully you can all see that. Where is that Leeds game? Right, sorry. So there's that Leeds game where they win, all is well. Then they lose at home to Charlton. A late draw at Forest. I remember Matt Cash scoring in that one. 0-0 against QPR. An away win there at Cardiff. Very nice. Middlesbrough, a draw. And then really kind of had the stuffing knocked out of them a bit there, didn't they? Millwall turning up and winning 3-0 there. That was pre-international break. Sorry, not pre-international break, pre-lockdown. But then the weirdest thing, look, they come back after lockdown, draw, win. And then, as someone said in the chat, you get to this crazy derby game where literally at 96 minutes, they're looking really, really nice. And Chris Martin scores a really scrap. I mean, it was a rubbish goal as well, wasn't it? I think Worrell gave away a silly free kick, didn't he? And they threw the ball in the box and, got a rebound and got a goal. So, dear oh me. And then just horrendous from then on. Look, They lost at home to Fulham. Remember that one? And Harry Arter and the slide tackle, and it hit the arm. And if it had been the Premier League, it would have been disallowed. But it was the Championship, so there was no VAR, so it didn't get disallowed. Then a draw at Preston. And then, my God, so that includes this season as well. You can start to see the L's coming. So a 2-2 draw at home to Swansea. And were they in the lead in this one? No. To be fair to them, they were never in the lead in this one. But then a last-minute defeat, 91 minutes, I think. Yeah, 93. Patrick Schmid, we were looking at that earlier. And then that mental last day of the season where it just was the most unlikely swing of events that was required for Forest to not make the playoffs. I remember doing my prep for the live stream that day and thinking, oh, well, I have to write this down, but it's not going to happen. And the event was that Swansea needed to win, Forest needed to lose, and there needed to be a 6-goal swing. And Forest won 4-1. Swansea won 4-1. Forest lost 4-1. And within 30 minutes of the end of the game, everything changed, and it was absolutely ridiculous, wasn't it? Hughton announced it. Someone was right there. Right, we'll get onto that in just a second. This is breaking as we go. Hughton announced Forest keeping you busy. Hughton okay, look, we'll get onto that on another screen in just a second. So Chris Hughton has been announced. That sounds official. Hopefully no one's fooling me, but I do trust you all. But I will just quickly double check that on my mobile phone before I go any further down this possible rabbit hole. Let's have a look here. Let's go on the Nottingham Forest Twitter. 2 tweets and wow. Absolutely wow. Chris Hughton is appointed manager. Oh my God. Whoever made that comment earlier in the stream, gold star. Surely that's less than the 43 minutes between Martin O'Neill and Sabri Lamouchi. So look, Lamouchi fired by God. Lamouchi, let me just change it. Lamouchi replaced by Hughton as Forest boss. Let's throw that up. There you go. So I'll give me a second to process this, and we'll keep trucking on. But look, obviously into this season, and if you add up the defeats all the way through from last season, and you include the League Cup game, it's 7 defeats in a row. It's no wins in 10. So it's 8 defeats in 10. It's a horrible, horrible collapse. But to say that we saw it coming is an understatement, because I'm sure anyone who was with me on the watch along for the Huddersfield game, that was awkward watching. But what's been slightly more awkward, and now conspiracy theories ahoy, isn't it? Because we've seen a whole load of new players come in, and I have sat here wondering why if they're not happy with Lamouchi. Well, maybe they were signing the players for Chris Hughton. I don't know, but just a ludicrous turnover of players here. Insane. Let me remove that. So So, 4.5 million. McKenna, 3 million. So 2 new centre halves. Bachiru, 600 grand. Ianu, 500,000. Lyle Taylor on a free. Jack Colback on a free. Tyler Blackett on a free. Miguel Guerrero on a free from Olympiacos. Who'd have thunk it? Luke Freeman on a loan, good player. Cafu yesterday from Olympiacos. Who would have guessed it? Harry Arter, that's a permanent as well. Cyrus Christie on a loan as well, and a reserve goalkeeper there down the bottom there in Diallo. And what you would then think is loads and loads of players would have gone out. And, well, okay, the loans yesterday have made it so. But Matt Cash was the big load of money in for sort of 14 million, it says on Transfermarkt. And then Brickut, Watson, Adoma, Benaluan all released. Tyler Walker went. Pantilimon went. Loaned out Brennan Johnson, Yao Carvalho, Jordan Gabriel to Blackpool. Thiago Silva went yesterday, and Nuno da Costa went yesterday. So I was very confused watching all of this, thinking, okay, you know, you don't fancy the manager. Why are all these deals happening? Who's making these deals? Well, let's see how well Chris Hughton knows these players and if he's actually meeting them for the first time. But hey, I'm getting my tinfoil hat on again and going full conspiracy theory. It was pretty sad, wasn't it? That game against Huddersfield where we knew he'd lost it at that point, hadn't he? Because I always worry when I see these Hail Mary team selections that we got. I'll come to your comments in just a sec, guys. And that was the one against Huddersfield where all of a sudden this incredibly stable, incredibly good defensive team last season, where you could rely on the back four. Look at that. So Sam Burke kept his place in goal. But then Cash has gone. Christie's in. Worrell and Figueiredo have not played. And Mbeso and McKenna are in. Blackett's in at left back. Ribeiro is gone from the team, I'm saying. And then in midfield, we got used to Samba Sam, Ben Watson, Jack Colback's there, Harry Arter's there. And then the real weird ones were the two players that did so well last season in terms of getting the goals and doing the business that end of the pitch. Lewis Grabban and Joe Lolly, both on the bench. Lolly gets on 76. And we all remember Grabban coming on the 66th minute there for Lyle Taylor. And the frost between Lamouchi and Grabban on the touchline was very, very revealing. I know lost the dressing room is an overused term, isn't it? But we kind of knew there and then that the problems were there. And Forest were very, very flat. As you can see there, they went on to lose the game and, 14 shots, but 4 big chances to 1 in terms of Huddersfield. You'll hear me say many times this season, big chances are very, very revealing. So look, I'll give you my opinion because people seem to care about that rather than the facts. But I'll give you my opinion and then we'll look at your comments. I liked Sabri Lamouchi. I thought he was quite good for Forest last season. Yes, it was defensive. Yes, it was pragmatic. Yes, it relied a lot on Cash and Lolly down the right and Grabban scoring the goals. No, they didn't take anyone to the cleaners, but they had a system that up until, and yeah, ifs, buts and maybes, up until that Derby game and that 97th minute goal was looking fine for playoffs. And then they fell over about another 5 more times before the finish line, didn't they? Really, for them not to finish in the playoffs was such a huge collapse, wasn't it, for Forest? So I thought he could withstand the collapse. I thought maybe, that's just an aberration at the end of the season. And, he'll get it right again. But then when you start to see all the to-ins and throw-ins, yes, we knew he would lose either Cash or Lolly or Worrell. We kind of knew one of those was going to go. So Cash goes. But then all of a sudden, to completely retool the first team that really should have finished 5th last season. Come on. We know how last season played out, don't we? Leeds were really good. West Brom had a good manager and some parachute payments. Brentford nearly got there and Fulham nearly got there, but they weren't as good as West Brom. Everyone else, it was much of a muchness. Cardiff kind of just ended up in 5th, didn't they? Swansea on the last day. It was there for Forest. It wasn't a good standard below 4th position, was it? Let's be blindly honest with the benefit of hindsight. And we know that because of the level of points at the bottom of the league. We know that the top teams did not whip the bottom teams into shape because that stretches the league table out. So we know last season that the top of the championship was not strong in terms of big numbers. Only Leeds, 93 is a really good score. But otherwise, what did West Brom go up with? 82, 83 or something like that? 82? I can't remember. But my point stands. So I thought he could ride it out, but obviously he can't. And I'm hearing now about Chris Hughton. So let me just go across to the Nottingham Forest website and we'll see if Chris Hughton has been announced on the website. He has on Twitter. And I must remember to close my DMs this time. I left them open on the screen. So hopefully you can't see any of that. There you go. Chris Hughton appointed as manager. Nottingham Forest are delighted to announce the appointment of Chris Hughton as the club's new manager. Wow. Okay. So let me click on that. Let's see if he gets any more lines than Lamouchi did. Oh, it's opened it in a different window. How infuriating. One sec. We'll get there. It does say a little bit more, I have to say, this time. Let's have a look. So can you see that, guys? Yeah, you can. So there's the Forest website up there. Let me just close that down. Just quickly scroll down and you can see Reglan Cafu, Benalouan departs, the Costa leaves on just amidst 800 transfers that have been happening very, very recently. So there he is, Chris Hughton. He does get, well, he gets 4 paragraphs there. Oh, and there's a man in a hard hat saying, trading Chelsea, go away. Nottingham Forest are delighted to announce the appointment of Chris Hughton as the club's new manager. Hughton joins the club with a wealth of managerial experience, leading both Newcastle and Brighton to promotion from the Championship and going on to establish both teams in the Premier League. The former Republic of Ireland international also boasted an impressive playing career, winning 2 FA Cups and the UEFA Cup during his time at Spurs. Hughton also managed Norwich City in the Premier League, leading them to an 11th place finish, and has managed close to 450 first-team games with a win percentage of over 40%. Right. Sorry, there's 41 comments there to read. Promise I'll come to them in a second. Get your thoughts in on Lamouchi. Get your thoughts in on Hughton. Let me just freestyle on Hughton because obviously you've seen the feed. It's been announced as I've been live. So let me tell you what I know about Chris Hughton. He's incredibly experienced. So they've gone for a known quantity. We always talk about, I mean, the names are running out now. Soon it'll be Gary Monk and Gary Rowett will be the incredibly experienced Championship managers. But we're talking about Steve Bruce, Mick McCarthy, and Chris Hughton. They're the ones, aren't they, where you think, oh, right, we need Mr. I've been a manager for 20 years. And Hughton's, I suppose, with his coaching work at Tottenham is, certainly put in that kind of tenure. So as I remember, and correct me as we go in the chat here, he was at Newcastle and my recollection is they got relegated and he kind of got a temporary contract and kicked arse in the Championship, got them promoted and didn't actually get a permanent contract until he got up. And then when he got up, he got sacked fairly quickly. Am I remembering that correctly? That sounds very sort of Mike Ashley, doesn't it? Sorry, I'm having trouble with the sound in my ears. Hopefully everything sounds okay for you guys. So then Hughton, where would it be next? Would it be Norwich next? I think, yeah, Norwich before Brighton. Now, obviously, I've covered Norwich a lot. I have lots of friends at Norwich. Somehow that's happened being an Ipswich fan, but it has. So I know that Norwich fans, that Forest article on the website saying about the 11th place, Norwich fans don't remember that 11th place. They remember the next season where it was all too pragmatic and they kind of went down. And I don't know how fondly Hughton is looked on over at Norwich. Brighton is a different matter. Now, there is the big caveat with Brighton that this is not Chris Wilder at Sheffield United taking them from nowhere through the division without any money. No, it's not. It's not Stuart Webber at Huddersfield taking them up, that mad promotion in 16, 17 or something, wasn't it? Brighton was very consistently Tony Bloom spending quite a lot of money. And had they, look, I know they paid a lot of bonuses when they did go up. Had they not gone up that season, I think FFP was going to start to become an issue for Chris Hughton at Brighton. But he got them up. If you remember, they finished in the playoffs that season where they went to Middlesbrough on the last day, Karanka's Middlesbrough, and they drew, didn't they? And then they had a ridiculous game in the playoffs where all of their players got injured. They got like 3 injuries in the first half hour of the playoffs and lost to Huddersfield. David Wagner and Stuart Webber's Huddersfield. He did, to his credit, kick a lot of backside the next season when his old team, Newcastle under Rafa, and that Brighton team they were just miles ahead of everybody else. To say he established Brighton in the Premier League, I think there's a couple of slightly miscreant lines in the Forest thing. I think they've glossed over the second season at Norwich. And I think to say he established Brighton, again, very pragmatic. I think 17th place finish, and they've obviously moved on and they got rid of him. he got them up. They did one season. They survived. I think they survived on the last day in 17th place. I don't know. As I say, I'm freestyling. So I think there's a couple of... Look, a promotion with Newcastle and a promotion with Brighton. So it's one of those owners now, Mr. Marianakis. He wants a manager that's been promoted before, obviously. And this guy's been promoted twice. So Brighton would have been... I'm getting my years all in a muddle here. So 17, 18 was Cardiff and Wolves. So it would have been the previous season. 16, 17. And the first Newcastle promotion is like 2009, 2010, or there or thereabouts, or something. I could bring his Wikipedia up, shouldn't I? But so he has got the two promotions. We know that the style of football, and this is where it's a good appointment, is that we were talking about Gerhard Struber earlier and saying the worst thing that Barnsley could do is replace Struber with a manager that has a totally different style. Well, they've replaced Lamouchi with a manager with a similar style. We all remember Brighton, very tight, and Knockaert would do the business, or Glenn Murray or whoever up top would do the business. They had some freedom to play up front, but it was pragmatic. It was a draw is okay away from home. And it worked, didn't it? But what I will say, Newcastle were an absolute giant of Behemoth in championship terms, aren't they? They've come down twice and just blasted about 100 points both times, haven't they? So fine. He did a good job to get them up. So that's the first promotion. The second one is more impressive with Brighton because he built that up. But again, like I say, it's not Chris Wilder at Sheffield United. This was, if you look through the, well, should we do it? Let's do it for goodness sake. If you look through the actual amount of money spent, hang on, let me bring this up. So what year did we say Brighton went up? 16, 17, wasn't it? So I'll just bring you up their transfers for that year just to see if I'm talking absolute nonsense or not. Where are we looking? So, yeah, this is Brighton in 16, 17 in the championship under Hughton. Look at that. Shane Duffy for nearly 5 million. Glenn Murray for 3 million. Steve Sidwell, Pochignoli, Ollie Norwood, on his first of his 3 promotions. But, yeah, so a couple of big signings in that season. And that's telling no big sales. So, hopefully this is illustrating the point I'm trying to make, that he was back. Let's just see what he got the previous season at Brighton in terms of his spending. I mean, by God, look at that. So this is in the championship in 15-16. This is what Brighton spent. Knockaert, 3 million. Hunemeyer? Anyone could let me know who that is in the comments. 2.4. Jamie Murphy, Yuri Skalak, Tomer Hemed, all... Elvis Manu. Look, let's just be honest. They spent a load of money. Brighton spent a load of money. We know that. We come on the channel here. We give Chris Wilder loads of credit for getting Sheffield United up with no money and never, ever having a parachute payment at that club. We give Stuart Webber and David Wagner a lot of credit. But sometimes when we talk a bit about, I don't know, Wolves under Nuno, they were great, but boy, did they wreck FFP. And Brighton after the bonuses. Yes, I know you're out of jurisdiction then. So that would be my only question about Chris Hughton. The other thing would be is that I thought he was nailed on for Bristol City and something went awry with Hughton and Bristol City over the summer, didn't it, to replace Lee Johnson? I don't know what went down there, but I've heard all sorts of stuff. Right. Let's have a look at your comments here and see what you think. Maybe tired of the useless players, he has, says Noel. Jez says, Chris Hughton was ex-manager of my hometown club, Brighton Hove, and I can tell you as a Hover, he was disliked towards the end. This always happens with pragmatic managers. I mean, I'll cite Mick McCarthy at Ipswich. Did a great job to get him in the playoffs in 14-15. But once you start losing and you're playing this pragmatic style and you're not creating chances, you're not winning games, you're drawing a lot, doesn't feel like you're likely to win that many games. It's not why people pay their money to go to football. They want to see attacking football. They want to see goals. They want to see all of that sort of stuff. And I mean, maybe this comes back to the Lamouchi issue of where do you go when you have a pragmatic team and you don't create that many chances and you keep lots of clean sheets and you win narrow games? Where do you go when you stop scoring the chances? Well, you start losing, don't you? And, you know, what are you all of a sudden going to turn into, I don't know, Bielsa's Leeds or Farker's Norwich in 18-19 and be playing total football? No. Chris says the style of football Hughton instructs his team to play is boring. And the last thing Forest need right now, I'll take my time for him to mould the squad. Do you not think it'll be quite similar to Lamouchi, Chris, Hughton? Pulis Stoke was the same. Yeah, I mean, look, if Marianakis just wants to get Forest into the Premier League, then a way to do it is to stick two fingers up at FFP, gamble, spend a ton of money and give it to one of these managers who has managed 500-700 games or whatever, and they probably will get you up. Noel, my friend, I'm freestyling. Please, can we just do one with the criticism? I will read the chat as and when. The video is me giving my thoughts, and I look at the chat in between. The video is not me reading the chat. Yeah, I am looking at it now, my friend. So, but yeah, calm down. Let's have a look here. The real Barnett says, great appointment by us. This is a top 2 squad. I mean, when the transfers started to happen, I was thinking, well, you've already got Graben, who's a very, very good championship striker. And now you're adding Taylor as backup. Maybe not too creative last season, but you've brought Luke Freeman in to do that. I thought they were starting to improve. So I didn't think they were going to tear up last season's team and then, kind of build an entirely new one and have a new manager. You know, it does take time. Can't expect them to just start winning straight away. Is this real? Yes. What are we talking about? We are talking about Lamouchi replaced by Hughton as Forest boss. Our second championship managerial video we are doing today. Let's have a look here. Scrolling up. Noel says Chris will be I forgot Birmingham, didn't I? Yes, he managed at Birmingham, didn't he, as well? I think he did all right, yeah. Kane says as well, Hughton managed Birmingham before Norwich. How did he do at Birmingham? I think they still had parachute money when he was there, didn't they? Yeah, thanks, guys. Tony says there's a group of managers that hire in the championship and then ruthlessly sack them on promotion. Yeah, sorry, I missed out Warnock when I talked about McCarthy and Steve Bruce and people like that. There we go. If anyone can remember, did brilliant at Birmingham. Hughton took Birmingham on a Europa League tour, nearly got us out of a group, including Braga, Club Brugge and Maribor. Missed out by a point. There you go. Maybe some good work I've missed out there at Birmingham. Let's have a look here. Panic, sacking Lamouchi as a good manager. Only signed an extension to his contract 4 months ago. There we go. George says, I've been off socials for 40 minutes and Forest have sacked and signed another manager. Well, there we go. Nick says the sacking was justified. I can't read some of those sweary comments up there. Fingerstyle says, amazing Sabri lasted so long. Hughton must have been lined up a while back. Who knows? I thought he was going to Bristol City. I thought Lamouchi was a go this season, but there you go. Bazzy says, it's all going off tonight. Noel denies giving me grief. There we go, Noel. Hopefully we fixed it up. I think he just wanted me to talk about Birmingham, didn't he, which I missed out. Whilst freestyling as the news broke and I was able to do no research and just dive into the recesses of my brain and horrible amounts of championship football that is in there. Hamza says, I hope you can get the players up and try to make a winning run now. Best time to sack Sabri before the break. He has some time. Well, I mean, that's true. That's absolutely true. That look, if it is going to work, they've given him 42 games to do it now. So, yeah, and if he had lost the dressing room and if he had lost the trust of the owners, which seems to have been the case, then yeah, why not? Hey, a lot of potential in the squad as Hams. We just need to relax and start. I agree. There's a lot of potential in the squad. I do. Chris Hughton has nothing on Dean Holden. Well, Dean Holden's been a manager for 4 games. Chris Hughton's been a manager for about 400 years. So, Ben, I wasn't having a problem. No, we're all good, Noel. We're all good. I think I've caught up now, haven't I? And we've addressed the Birmingham elephant in the room that I missed out. Should have gone with their assistant manager. Yeah, there you go. Jay says, to be fair, when Hughton arrived at Birmingham, we had to rebuild the whole squad. That many new people. It looked like a first day at new school. Got us to playoffs with a team of freebies. That would have been with parachute payments, though, wouldn't it? That would have been a first year after a relegation, I think. And that's always a kind of mitigating factor. Plenty of time for Hughton to patch up this team and get on track. Absolutely. Forest will be a force with Hughton at the helm. Red Dog says, hopefully we play 4-4-2 now. Well, you might see that, mightn't you? You may well. I'm trying to think what he did with Brighton, what the actual pattern of play was. I think it might have been 4-4-2, mightn't it? I remember Knockout playing wide for sure. Did he play 2 up top? I can't quite remember. Someone will let me know. Jay says, Sabri gone. Can't say I'm surprised, no. Just surprised that we get 2 in one afternoon. Dustin says he's got a stacked midfield to sort out. Well, should we have a little look? Let's see what Forest are actually got to play with this season. What Chris Hughton now. The poor old Sabri. The conversation has moved very, very quickly away from Lamouchi over to Chris Hughton. I'm going to sort this Forest squad on what Transfermarkt deems their most valuable players. Now, please, guys, please don't get emotional about Transfermarkt's ideas of what a player is worth. Yeah? It's not important right now, yeah? I don't make the figures. Don't give me, Joe Lolly's worth 10 times that. Fine, whatever. Right, let's have a look. Here it comes. So this is what, I wonder if Joe Lolly could be Hughton's knockout, how he used him there. So look, you talk about the squad. Lolly, well, yeah, really good championship player. Worrell, excellent young English defender. So just signed for 4 million quid, 19-year-old defender. Grabban, any championship team would have Grabban. They'd be lying if they didn't. He will play Grabban for 40 games in the championship and he'll score 18 goals, won't he? Arter, okay, some people think he's not very physical, but he's a very good passer, a very good user of the ball. And I bet Chris Hughton will love him. Samba, excellent championship goalkeeper. Freeman, well, he's been really good for QPR, wasn't it? And then went for the big transfer to Sheffield United. It didn't work. Banging left foot. But look, if we just stop there and say you build a team with a centre-half partnership of Worrell and Mbe-So, you play Grabban and Lyle Taylor up front, you play Luke Freeman on the left wing and Joe Lolly on the right wing with, I don't know, Harry Arter and Samba Sow or Jack Colback or whoever in midfield. And then that's, you know, if we just scroll a bit more, Ribeiro had a good season at left back, didn't he? Proven championship now. McKenna's just signed for decent money. Colback's been here before. Sal's good in this division. So Figueiredo, he's perfectly fine, isn't he? I don't know anything about Guerrero. I'll have to plead the fifth on that. Cyrus Christie, I think, has been promoted with Fulham out of this division, hasn't he? Lyle Taylor. Yeah, I think the guys that are saying that this squad is good, Gaetang Bong, he probably had him at Brighton, didn't he? So those of you suggesting that this squad is good, you are right. There's plenty of good players there. The only issue I've got with the Forest squad now is what I said at the top of the stream in respects of, and Hughton will be good at this, obviously, but where you come in and there's a load of players that aren't yours. Although, conspiracy theory ahoy, did he have a say in some of these players that have just come in? I don't know. I don't know why you're bringing in a load of players leading up to firing a manager if the new manager hasn't okayed them. That's completely speculation on my part. But that's the only issue. Is the squad like bloated, unbalanced all over the shop now? That would be my question. Right, let's do a few more comments. Let's have a look. Yes, the year we won the cup and went down. I thought, so it was the year after. Yeah. Got you. So yeah, we need to give Hughton credit. But if I'm playing devil's advocate, and please disagree with me if I'm wrong, because seems like we've got a lot of people who watched that Birmingham team. I didn't. But if I'm making an argument that Chris Hughton's already had cushy jobs, or maybe Forrest is cushy, who knows what Marianakis is going to give him, that Newcastle was a giant, Birmingham had parachute payments, and Brighton were funded by Tony Bloom massively. That would be all I would say, is that he's sensible. He only takes jobs where he knows he's got that advantage of it, either being a big club or having, a bit of money and an owner prepared to go for it. So that would be my... Can Forest... These are the questions. Can Forest match what Birmingham with parachutes, Newcastle, massive parachutes as well, and Brighton managed to give him in terms of infrastructure? And is Hughton as good as he was then? Which is, I suppose, has he been 2 years out? We did up 17, 18. He probably finished at Brighton, didn't he? They've been up. Brighton been up like 3 years. I guess they have, haven't they? Crazy. Lewis says, sad it ended this way for Sabri, but sometimes there need to be a change and somebody needs to be the scapegoat. Annie says, Lee Johnson, in all seriousness, would have been a good option. Well, we've spoken about him and Barnsley earlier on, being that he managed them before. Forest could have Pep Guardiola, still finished 7th. Unbelievable. Look at Birmingham's midfield options after who's that? McLeish. Yes, a good but unbalanced squad. That would be my worry, is, sometimes you give a manager too many options and they try too many things, don't they? But, hey, I'd imagine Hughton knows exactly what he wants to do, pattern of play-wise, philosophy-wise. He's probably setting on that. So if there's players that don't fit, they just won't play, I guess, will they? Mad day for managers in the Championship. Yes, you're getting fired today, aren't you? Hughton is confirmed. We have that from the club website. Imagine if Lamouchi rocked up at Barnsley. That was exactly what I was saying earlier, Joe. The exact type of manager Barnsley don't want to get is a pragmatic defensive manager with all of those questions. Yes, I will do a stream for England v Wales, which is the Thursday night at 8 p.m. Brentford wouldn't have Grabban. We had him once on loan, I think. Oh, you know what I mean, though. Let me rephrase that. Grabban would score for Brentford. He's one of those players who lies in between being a very good Championship player and not quite a Premier League player. So there you go. Bong wasn't even given a number. Bong. That reminds me of younger days in university. Yes, we've got this now. Hughton in both changes, not a shock today. Struber had been rumoured, and you can see the position there was only sooner. Yeah, agreed. Hip says, I think you're right, Ben. Bit iffy the timing of the sacking day after deadline day. Yeah, fair enough, Hip, day after deadline day, if you haven't just signed an entire new team virtually. Well, let's think about it. Other than Samba in goal, if Forest were to play Ionis at left back, McKenna, Christie, then they could play Colback, Bakiru, and Arta. Then they could play Lyle Taylor, Luke Freeman, and somebody else. And it's an entire new outfield team, isn't it? That would probably be quite competitive, wouldn't it? Love your hair, Ben. Wow, we went 50 minutes without a comment on my hair. Thank you, All Leeds Things TV. Love it. Hughton got till the 16th with his second window to bring one or two in, maybe using the Matty cash money. Yes, he can still shop on these shores, can't he? Remember, someone else can still have Lolly or Worrell, who you'd think would be the most saleable assets there. What would you give the manager signing and squad out of 10? Well, like I said, and I'll fill it full of caveats because everyone accuses me of sitting on the fence. If Forrest and Marianakis can provide Hughton with what he had at Brighton, Birmingham or Newcastle, then Forest will finish high up in the table. He'll want stability though, and just Forest. I mean, we haven't done this yet. Let me just do this because this will just be jaw dropping. Soccer Base is quite good for this. Soccer Base, Nottingham Forest managers, and I mean old Forest managers. There you go. Is it going to load up? Oh, why would it not load up? I'm having an absolute nightmare with the internet here. Let me see if they've got it on Wikipedia or something. List of Nottingham Forest managers. There we go. Right. I mean, this is just balmy. Absolutely balmy. Let me split to the other screen. So I'll go bigger and we'll scroll. Hang on one sec. I'm doing my best, guys. Doing my best. Is my best good enough? They ask. So, Lamouchi, he did from June 2019 to, where are we now? October 2020. Martin O'Neill, well, he did 5 months, 6 months there. Simon Island, forget that, caretaker. Karanka, 1 year exactly. Gary Brazil, forget that. Warburton, 6, 7 months. Yes, I know someone will tell me this is under El Fazawi. Is that his name? The previous owner. Some of these will be. Philip Montagnier, 1 year. June, no, not even that. Sorry, 7 months. Paul Williams, a couple of months caretaker. Doogie Friedman, a year and a month. Stuart Pearce, about 9 or 10 months there. Billy Davis, that's 13 months. Alex McLeish, we mentioned him in the Birmingham chat earlier, didn't we? God, 2 months. No, 1 month, about 6 weeks. Good. Steve Cotterill is less than a year. Steve McLaren. So if we go all the way back to Billy Davis and we then say, so Steve McLaren, Steve Cotterill, Sean O'Driscoll, Alex McLeish, Billy Davis again, Stuart Pearce, Doogie Friedman, Philip Montagnier, Mark Warburton, Aitor Karanka, Martin O'Neill, Sabri Lamouchi, and now Hughton. So Hughton is Forest's 13th manager since Steve McLaren arrived in June 2011. So that is 9 years and a bit. 9 years and 3 months. And Forest have had 13 managers. My God. Dear oh me. Right, let's do a little bit more and then we will end this stream. Bazzy says gives him 2 weeks for the squad. That is very true about although I would a lot of these players are experienced as well. They should be able to follow instructions fairly quickly and fairly well. Tony says, I thought he was pretty good, but this might have been a while earlier ago in Graven's career. I think we might have been in League One. There we go. Shout out to Hayan Raza. He's a big fan. Yo. Fact that Hughton is managing in the Championship is a joke. Is it? Oh, what? You think he's too good? Interesting. Sabri was our longest reigning manager for 10. Yep. Niall, we've just looked at the numbers. You are totally right. Part of wanting Sabri to stay was to have stability, making 13 signings and 8 new players. Yeah, totally agree, Lewis. Totally agree with that. If Hughton could do rebuilding with Carson Young, giving him no money from parachute payments, then trust me, we'll do well at Forest. Fair comment. James says deserves to go after the end of last year. And James, if you parlay that into this year, what did we say? 8 defeats in 10, 7 in a row. Aquatic. Hugh to bring Forest up. Ernesto takes them over, perhaps. Don't know who that is, Aquatic, but let me know. Shellshire to go to Barnsley. Be a bit of a come down after. No offence to Barnsley, but Manchester United is a big club. I would say we do a bit of Q&A. Next, ask away. Too good for the league. Niall expects some pragmatic football, but for players like Freeman, Amiobi, Lolly, creative players to get some license. Right, guys, thank you so much for watching. We did get a super chat in here as well. Thank you to the super chat, which feels like about 800 years ago. That was my reaction to Sabri Lamouchi being fired and then finding out in the middle of the stream that he'd been replaced by Chris Hughton. Please, guys, if I made any mistakes, I was doing that completely on the fly and doing some bad research as we went. So please be kind to me if I did make any factual mistakes. But moreover, if you're watching after the fact, please get your thoughts in the comments on Lamouchi out, Hughton in at Forest. I have delayed the transfer video to 7:30, so that's going to start immediately as this finishes. It's a premiere, it's pre-recorded. I will refer to Gerhard Struber and Sabri Lamouchi as the current Barnsley and Forest managers in it, though, because I made it this morning before that went. Right, thank you so much, everybody. I will see you, what we got? I think Fantasy League tomorrow. And if you want to stay tuned, I'm doing the transfer update. It's pre-recorded, but it's on in like a minute. So, yeah. And Jay says, comment of the day. See you in about half hour when another one gets sacked. Anyway, comment, hit that like button, get involved. And thank you, everybody, for watching. That was my reaction as Sabri Lamouchi is replaced, I won't say fired, replaced now by Chris Hughton at Nottingham Forest for their 13th manager in just over 9 years. Over and out. Get in the comments.